Hello, hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Conversation with Successful Entrepreneurs. And tonight I have with me a very special guest because I am very much into childhood education, into children and everything, and that is why tonight having this particular guest with me, right, is really something that I think is very special on the show. So I'm very excited to have with me Mr. Jonathan Ho on the show, and he's a founder of Graphite Academy. Basically, what he does is that his academy, right, provides coding programs to children, to all the bright minds in our nation, to educate them so that they all can be the next Bill Gates or the next, okay, I wanted to say Steve Jobs, but that's the wrong one. Maybe the next, Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos, or all these tech entrepreneurs. So we're going to have all these amazing talents coming up. And because why? They've attended Graphite's Academy coding program, right? So who is behind it all? It's going to be Mr. Jonathan Ho. And Jonathan is someone who is a very young gentleman. Don't look at him like that, right? He's extremely, extremely young. But then under his belt, right, he already had years and years of entrepreneurship experience. And today, he's really, really dominating this very competitive niche, which is education. Right? If you ask anybody coming out today and tell them that you want to start a business in education, they will tell you that there's so many people doing it. But yet, Jonathan is able to carve out a unique piece and make it his very, very own. In fact, anyone who wants to come into this piece right now, later Jonathan will share, they have to technically go through him. It's super amazing how he actually planned his own business. Okay, so without further ado, can you guys, for those of you who are watching this right now, I want you all to comment, say hi, right? And then give a warm welcome to Jonathan. So, Jonathan, welcome to the show.
Hey, everybody. Gavin, thanks for having me, man. It's interesting to be on the show.
Welcome. In fact, I have to thank you very much for agreeing to be on the show because I really do feel that you have so much knowledge, so much strategies that you could share. I'm particularly amazed with how you structured your business. So later, that is something that we're going to be discussing later. So for those of you who are watching, right, we are going to go in depth into that. I'm going to dig as much as I can from this amazing gentleman so that he can share his knowledge with you guys and see how that could apply to your own business. Okay, so if you're excited for that, just type excited in the comment box and let us know that you are super excited for that. So for those of you who are on my channel most of the time, you all know who I am, but you all may not know who Jonathan is, even after I said so much thing about him, right? So Jonathan, is it okay that you just give a brief introduction about who you are, what you do to the audience that's watching this right now?
All right. Hey, everyone. My name is Jonathan. I'm the founder and CEO of Graphite Academy. The company started in 2018, but even before 2018, we already started working in the coding space already. So we're actually one of the few pioneers in the coding enrichment field. Before the government announced that coding is going to be compulsory, we were already in the field testing out the market through local schools. So yeah, that's me.
Wow. Okay. I mean, he really he didn't share a lot of the other details. He keep it really, really simple because I think he paise, he embarrassed. Okay, but no need to be embarrassed. Nothing to be embarrassed about. In fact, that is why I got him on the show. Right, he's so humble, and yet almost all the providers, almost all the providers in Singapore, if they want to provide a coding program right now, they have to go through you. Am I right, Jonathan?
Okay. We actually cover about 36% of local Singapore schools. Now, how we did it was very different because when we first started, we couldn't get any basically government jobs because we didn't have the manpower, we didn't have the capital, we didn't have the employees to work with. So what we did was we went under all the companies that provided programs to schools, and we said, hey, why don't I take over your training division? We train them, we make sure they deliver proper programs, they do well. And then from there, we work on a kind of like a you pay me, I pay my trainer kind of rate. So that's what we did. We did well in the first 1 year, 2 years, we did well. We worked with one company. So we were very fortunate. One of the companies that we worked with was a very big provider. And they saw, potential in what we're trying to do. And they said, hey, why don't we work with you? So they took that up with us. So I'm very thankful to that company. And then we slowly expanded from one company. In one night, we went to 11 companies. And eventually we hit about 120 schools, and it went to a point where almost our name was being thrown around in the B2B field. That means the company's name was being thrown around in the B2B field. A company started calling us, saying, hey, we need trainers. Can you provide us trainers? So it was really just a train the trainer kind of program. in the school market, specifically targeted to coding in schools. So that was all it was, and we expanded pretty fast from then on. So it was 120 schools in a short time span of 2 years. And right now we have a team of about 30 over freelance trainers. Before there was 60, now it's 30. And then they run schools on a regular basis. So that's what we do. Yeah.
I see. Okay. So I guess for those of you who may be a little bit confused, right? So basically, what Jonathan does is that he's now providing coding programs, and he provides the trainers for all the schools or all the other providers who are actually providing coding programs. So maybe you are saying like, because so correct me, I'm wrong, Jonathan, right? So the model is more like, for example, right now Gavin Academy wants to provide a coding program, and for some reason I want the bid, right? But it's very common for me to actually not have a trainer to provide that particular program. And what I have to do is I look for you.
All right. Okay. What happens is in the school markets, they don't ask for 1 or 2 trainers. They ask for 8, 16, 32. They ask for a big chunk of numbers. And usually when those numbers come in, the freelance trainers have to commit to those schedules. So it goes down to a chicken and egg thing, because freelance trainers, if they are new to the industry, they don't have enough income to cover their daily expenses, right? The old ones will be busy. So what we did was we say, hey, let's provide the job flow to all the freelance trainers. So we ended up becoming the go-to agency kind of thing, where you come here, you confirm for jobs. That's what happened, because one company cannot provide enough jobs for 4 or 5 companies. If I'm a freelance trainer today, I want to go and work with the other companies. I got to re-pitch myself, resell my resume. We do everything for you. You just join us, and then we provide you the jobs. Then you just go and run.
So I think the interesting question is that you say that you become the go-to.
Yeah.
Right? You become the go-to for the trainers, and you are also becoming the go-to for the people providing the courses because they need the trainers. But how did you identify this gap? Like, I think any one of us who is business right now, if we could actually identify this kind of gaps in our own niche or industry, that would be like a gold mine that we stumble upon, right? How did you stumble upon it, or did you strategically discover or like went out on this?
Oh, okay, we stumbled upon it, but I joined the industry as a trainer in 1.6, and then I realized there were a number of problems in the field. One of the biggest problems in the field was the freelancers don't take care of each other. They kind of compete with each other. They pull each other down. They drag everyone down, and because they needed jobs, right? The idea was the more jobs I get, the more income I have. So I didn't like that culture because it doesn't make sense. Why don't we just all come together as one, right? Then we take care of each other. We move together as a group, lah. Because when we do that, our resources multiply, our effort also multiply. And if I can't do a job, I can get somebody I trust to take over those jobs. So that's how it started. Beyond that, we also realized that a lot of, let's say Gavin today, start Gavin Academy, you'll be so busy with the paperwork required, the sales process, the operational process, you've got no time to train the trainers. So what happens is by having us around, as Gavin Academy, what's going to happen is you can focus on your sales, your operations. All right, so you focus on putting the sales, right? All the after sales we settle. That's what we did. So we send our trainers, and over a period of time, because of our training system, we actually have a 25% quality trainer ratio. It doesn't sound fantastic, but if you look at the industry standards, in the industry standards, especially freelance trainers, out of 100 trainers, usually most companies has about 10, 12, 15 solid ones. From our standpoint, we have 25% kind of rate. So that shows that what we were doing was correct. Not only that, our turnover, usually freelance trainers survive about 6 months. Their market value is about 6 months, and then they leave because they don't earn enough income. Our freelance turnover is 1 year, 2 years. Some of our trainers have been with us since day one, man. So it shows that what we've done, we've extended the freelance trainer lifespan. So the companies don't have to go and find new trainer, test whether they do well or not. All we did was train the trainers up well, settle their operational things for them. We had an admin go back end to settle their scheduling, all these things, to make sure they go to the right places at the right time. And because of that, it became very valuable to a lot of companies who if they focus only on schools, right, what's going to happen is their operation team, their sales team won't be big one. Their whole operation will be about maybe 6-8 people. It's not enough to then have enough resources to pump to take care of the trainers. So that's where we came in, and we say we take care of the trainers. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think that's very, very interesting, because what I'm hearing right now, right, is that Jonathan has managed to do something that is pretty amazing, where he solved the problems of not just one party, right? Normally, we always say that if you can solve the problem for somebody, you're going to be making money, right? And that still stands true, by the way. But Jonathan doesn't just solve the problem of one party. In fact, I think from what I'm hearing is that Jonathan is like the middleman. He solved the problem for the prospects, right? And he also solved the problem for the client already, right? The provider as well as the one that needs to be provided. But he solved both their problems. So for the schools, right, I know that I engage Jonathan, I'm gonna get quality trainers, so I don't have to worry about all kind of things, right? And then as someone who needs to provide the school with the trainer, and then I look for Jonathan, because I know that Jonathan will be able to give me all the quality trainers, and I don't even need to worry about all the admin processes or the training of these trainers. By providing one solution, he actually solved the problem of many different parties, and that is how I think he has managed to become so successful at a very, very young age, right? And am I getting this right or not, Jonathan? I just wonder.
Right. So what happened was, by solving both the vendor side issue and the trainer side issue, we also ultimately solved one more issue, which was MOE was dealing with trainers with a wide range of training capabilities. The good ones were really good, the bad ones were really bad. So we kind of narrowed that kind of range down into, okay, hey, now you have more consistent quality of trainers coming. So it went to a point where our trainer started holding down schools, which means the trainer would tell the vendor, if this trainer don't come back, I don't sign, or I must have this trainer fulfill 80% of the schedule. That was how it went to that kind of extent. So that was what happened, and the schools were very pleased. We actually get a lot of quality reviews for our trainers, our conduct of lessons in school. So that's how it worked. So it was a three-pronged thing. We solved the vendor issue, we solved the trainer infighting, and we solved the school's issue, all one shot settled.
Wow, I see. I mean, okay, so you shared with us earlier, right? You started out as a trainer. That's why you managed to discover this kind of like infighting, and that led you to founding Graphite Academy to provide the kind of services and solving this kind of problem. And for those of you who are watching right now, by the way, for those of you who are watching, just say hi. Let us know that you are here. Okay, so that we can interact with you. Okay, I know there are some of you like putting up the likes and stuff like that. That's also good. Like, spam the love and likes and share this out as well. But it'll be good if you let us know that you are here. Say hi. But Jonathan started out your journey. You started out your journey when you are actually pretty young. In fact, you are still very, very young right now, right? For those of us who know your age, right? You are still very, very young. How did you even begin on this journey? Like, become an entrepreneur? I guess for many who are watching this, they'll be wondering that as well. Did you become an entrepreneur by choice, or?
Okay, so what happened is, wait, let me go back. So just I started business at 19 years old. 19 years old, I started business, and the whole idea of starting business that time was I wanted to learn something. And during that period, I just finished my JC, so I was going to army, right? And I had a lot of spare time. During that process, I was reading books, finding out how to become successful. I landed onto a book called Why We Want You to Be Rich by Donald Trump and Robert Kiyosaki. And in that book, they mentioned you should go and start your own business. So I started my own business at 19 years old. By 21, I did pretty all right. We managed to create a passive income kind of scenario for myself for about 2 years. So during that period, I went to party, went to fool around. Then I came back, and then I realized my business was going down. So that was a little mistake I made. But during the whole process of the first business, I learned a lot. So we developed the mindset of an entrepreneur, right? How do you go through the tough times? How do you go through? How do you push yourself forward? How do you have the discipline to do a lot of things? How do you ground yourself? So we went through that whole process, and what I gained out of the first 7 years in my first business was the mindset, the personal development, the ability to network. So funny story, when I first started, I had a very bad personality. This I think I didn't share this with you. Yeah, my personality was very bad. When I say that, let me explain to you how it works. When I first started, we go networking, right? Entrepreneur, we go networking, right? And I was so scared. I was so scared to network. So I used to go for a networking session at the bar, so you can go drink, then it loosens yourself up, right? So it's simple networking, easy to enter. My very first few networking session, I reached the spot, I turned back and went home. I reached the bar and then I turned back and went home because I was so scared of networking there, I couldn't do it. And slowly it became a natural thing to me. So it was trained out. And what the whole reason I went into business or entrepreneurship was because I'm not the smartest kid in school. I wasn't the smartest kid in school. And I knew that at that point, right, I needed something else so that I can be on a, same playing field as my friends in school. Because a lot of them actually got scholarships and all those things. And I was the one that, hey, I didn't get a scholarship. I did all right for school, graduated. Then that was it. So the whole idea was I wanted to have a level playing field. And I said, okay, let's focus on soft skills. I don't know where that came from as well, but we wanted to focus on soft skills. And then I went to my first business. In that business, my soft skills improved dramatically. I managed to do a lot of networking. My network, in fact, now is very nice. We have a very good, strong network to rely on. And from then on, it just propelled on from there. It was all a creation of personal development. It was a lot of mindset training, how to do sales, how to network, and that was how the first business started. And the whole idea was because I'm competitive. I wanted to be on a level playing field with all my other friends who were getting scholarships, who were going to prestigious universities, who were just in my JC class alone, we had I think we had 18 people in that class. I easily had 8 or 9 people on scholarships.
Wow.
That was the kind of class I came from. So I was I needed to compete with them on a different level, right? So let's go somewhere else.
Okay. It's very interesting. So I actually have I have a question from what you have just shared with us so far, because I think in your sharing, you have very generously shared that two things changed your journey, right? Is mindset. Number one was a mindset that you had that propelled you towards this, and not more than once you mentioned this thing called network, right? Networking. Yeah. You said that actually in the beginning, you were very afraid of networking, but then you just keep going and going until it became second nature to you. So I just wanted to ask this question. For now, is this: how important was network to your business, even to today? And how
it is extremely important. Yeah. Networking is extremely important, but many people do it wrongly. A lot of times they do it like a touch and go kind of thing. So today, a lot of my business actually, one of my counterparts in overseas came to me because of the network I built previously, which means we actually supply content overseas. So our curriculum, right? We developed curriculum for coding lessons by our teachers. It actually got picked up by one of my friends, and then they say, why don't you sell to Indonesia? And then he linked me up to a company in Indonesia, and then they started purchasing our programs. So that was what happened. A lot of the deals that we do was all because of the network that we created at a very early stage. So I created a network at a very early stage, kept in contact with people I clicked with, and they like me, they understand me, they know that we are here to create a future, right? So then we kind of just bounce back and forth. So I think what the biggest thing here, we take care of your network take care of you. That's how it works. Yeah.
Okay. So I think in business, sometimes like I hear from a lot of people who have in business, who have a lot more experience than I do, like yourself, is that business is really about, as much as business strategies and everything is important, I think the relationship, the network that you build around your business is also very, very key. And you mentioned earlier, right, a lot of people does networking wrongly. So I would like to seek then perhaps your advice, because you have been doing this, right? And you said that you actually been through that journey, right? You have been someone who was afraid and probably did it wrongly in the past, but to today, you could have that kind of network where people link you up to overseas partners and things like that. So could you share with the people who will be watching this, either they are watching it right now or maybe later on the replay or on YouTube, what would be the right way, in your opinion, to network?
A lot of people, they network, they are out to get sales right off the bat. Don't do that, because that will turn everyone off. You're either out to get sales, you're either out to get an interview, either get a job. that turns people off right away. I've gone to so many networking sessions where the person in question will give you a name card and then, hi, my name is so and so, this is what I do, and then they go off. What you want is to establish a good connection with the person. Once you've established a connection, don't even sell stuff. Find out more about them, understand a bit more, listen more, and then if there's any form of collaboration that can happen, then you call for a meetup the next day or down the road next week. Depends on when they're free, right? So you want to establish the connection first. A lot of people go to networking sessions. They're just out to get a job. They're immediate and they want it immediate. So they're like, hey, I'm looking for a job. Hire me, right? There's nothing wrong with that. However, if you just do it right off the bat when you first meet a person, without understanding where this guy is from, without knowing what's your skills, right? It turns a lot of people off. So that's what happens when it comes to networking. I learned this through the hard way, and speed networking also is another one. So I learned this through the hard way. I did that. I gave out name cards. There was this thing we were taught last time was that if you went for a networking session and you didn't get 20 name cards, you're doing it wrong. So now I totally don't do that anymore. So that doesn't work. That doesn't work because you can get 20 name cards, no issue, but then they don't remember who you are. They don't remember who you are. They don't know what you do. There's no connection, and you probably don't remember them as well. So that's how it works. Yeah.
Okay. So it's back to the argument of quality over quantity, right? If you could get one quality connection relationship built from the whole evening or whichever thing that you guys we will be doing, that would be better than giving out 100 names up and none of them actually want to get connected with you.
Correct. So many times there's this incident, and I like to share this. There's this incident. I went for a private networking session. So these days I go for a lot of private networking sessions, and there's one or two big wigs one. You know them. Either you know their names or you know their company names. And these big wigs actually get approached a lot because everyone knows who they are or knows what company they're with, right? What happens is I went for this particular networking. It was a private networking session, and there was this guy who was trying to. So he was a smooth talker, very smooth talker, and he was coming from the standpoint of I can help you grow your business, right? Mm-hmm. Now these guys are seasoned veterans. Their business are like big. I mentioned their names, their household brands. And this guy was coming, a young chap, saying, "Hey, I can help you grow your business into another kind of field," right? Nothing wrong with that, but it went to a point where, so if I'm the seasoned veteran, I'm the household brand owner, I'll be like, you're a young punk, right? How are you going to help my business? You're telling me what you're asking me to consider. Me and my team have never considered it before. So I think that was what was going through the household brand boss his mind during that time. And so this guy was a smooth talker. He speaks well. He spoke well. He connected well. But it was very clear on the onset that he was there as a business kind of, I just want to do business standpoint. So this guy introduced himself to the big owner, right? And then started talking. So here's where it gets very fun, because private networking sessions are usually 20 people, 25, 30 people in a room before COVID-19, and you will get to everyone eventually. So what happened was I just kind of didn't spend much time talking to the big owner, right? And at the end of it, we had a quick chat, and so we had a quick chat, we connected, we actually met up afterwards, and till today, I'm his friend. So I'm his friend. He actually taught me business in my business career. So that was very interesting. So the guy that actually asked to, hey, I can scale your business for you, right? He was no longer friends with him. I don't even think they're in contact anymore. So that was very funny. I just didn't spend too much time talking to him. We got to everyone. We connected, then we met up after that, say, if you're free, let me pick your brains a while. Then we became friends. That was how it worked. And now I'm friends with him on Facebook. He teaches me business, and it was quite good. That was a very nice incident that happened.
So basically, so what you're saying is that what I'm hearing is that if we want to be able to really network effectively, we have to go out there and really not just, I mean, it's not, I don't think there's anything wrong, like we said, right? There's nothing wrong to be objective driven, like you want to be business. But I think before you can even touch on business, it's important to build the relationship on a human level first.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
I see. So for those of you who are watching this right now, be a human, right? Comment down in the comment section so that we know that you're a real human, you're not a bot watching this right now, and spam the love and like button, and then we can interact with you, okay? And don't forget to share this out as well. All right. So So okay, so thank you for very much for sharing with us how we can actually network effectively, and I think that is a very important skill set that everybody needs to do right now. Because I think like yourself, I also been to many networking sessions. In fact, I think that sometimes I still make the same mistake where I don't network as effectively because I'm just not the kind of person who probably know how to talk and relate to someone as my EQ not that high lah. Okay, so I admit it, right, guys. So I admit it on live right now, and my EQ not very high. So maybe I don't get to connect as well. But I think that's really something that we need to be able to practice much better. So you hear that from someone who has able to do that very, very effectively. You hear that from Jonathan. And I want to dig deeper into your brain right now, Jonathan. So I'm going straight to the point. See, EQ fail.
Let's go. Let's go. Yeah.
Okay, so I want to understand this, right? Just now, when we were talking about how you started your business and how you was as a trainer and you were able to find out this deficiency in this market, right? And you managed to solve so many people's problem, and that's why your business is booming. That's why you're dominating, right? The coding programs in Singapore. My question is this. My question is there a strategy that we could employ, that we could use in order for us to find out what are all these kind of problems, regardless of the industry or niche that we are in? Is there a way or framework or strategy that we could use in our own business so that we can be as successful as you are, so that we can find the problem and then develop a business around it to be as successful as you are?
Oh, go where the complaints are, man.
Go where the complaints are.
Go where the complaints are. Because what happened is when I was in the field, a lot of people were complaining. They're complaining, hey, vendors don't provide training, or the training is not sufficient for them, or they provide the training and then the class starts so much later, maybe 3 months later, or maybe 2 months later. By then they go to class, they forget everything. So that's number. So go where the complaints are. There were so much complaints. The next complaint was I complained. This one was the trainers were killing each other. So go where the complaints are. So I found that out. They were killing each other. They were, I'm not sharing with you my slides because my slides are better than everybody else. I'm not sharing with you how I solved this problem. So there were a lot of frustration. So usually frustration where the complaints are, there are opportunities. You if you can solve them, then you carve kind of niche for yourself. There's one more complaint that was very interesting. So I think this is where it gets very important because I'm new to the industry. I actually learned a lot from the first partner that actually gave me so much opportunity, right? So I'm really thankful to them. What happens is in the industry itself, you have to learn from somebody's season or work under somebody's season if you're new. Because if you're new, you don't know what's going on, right? You got to go in and understand what's going on. What are the problems faced? How do you solve them? And a lot of times we talk about solving problems. The problems don't have to be big, you see. The problem we solved was just, my trainer not happy because vendor don't give enough training. My trainer not happy because they fight with each other. School's not happy because quality not there. So then it went to a point where it was all trainer problem. So if I can solve the issue through training, through settling the administrative side, through a structured, systematic way of training the trainers, so that I don't waste their time in going for endless training. The trainers will complain, hey, I go for endless training, but then no job. So I said, well, let's not do that. So we created a system where the trainers did OJT very fast and specific to what they were supposed to teach, and the results were good. So that was how it worked. So with regards to creating a framework, go where the complaints are. Once you go where the complaints are, you can kind of dig out what's going on, listen, understand, and then solve the problem. And then don't ask them, just solve it first. Because once you solve it, then they will ask you to help them.
I see. Well, I think that's very amazing. Hey guys, if you are enjoying this right now, right, please spam the love and like button. And by the way, if you could also, I'd like to hear what are the kind of complaints that you guys are experiencing, right, in your own business and industry. What are the complaints that you guys are hearing, so that is that the problem that you can solve for your industry? In fact, I see from the love and like button, someone just posted an angry emoticon. Is that a complaint? Are we not doing our job well, guys? So type down in the comment section and let us know. But I think the approach is actually very, very good, because like a lot of times we like as coaches, we go through a lot of theory, right? People say, in order to do that, you need to find out the pain point of the people. It's very theory based, right? We imagine all this in our head. But you're telling us right now, is it what I'm hearing from Jonathan is this, no need to think. Just go and ask people, right, what are their complaints, and then go and just address those complaints. And there you have it. Right? It's as simple.
You hear can already.
Yeah. But the thing is this, okay, so after we hear the complaints already, right? And people just love to complain. Right? People just love to complain about any and everything, especially if we are Singaporeans, right? Singaporean, what's our number one hobby? Queuing up. Okay. Number two hobby is to complain. Right? And we just do that all the time. So perhaps, right, given that your strategy is this, right? In order to be able to find a problem, it's just to go where the complaints are. Is there a way that you could discern which are more high priority complaints or low priority complaints? Is there something that you use to analyze that?
It must solve a specific problem. So a lot of times, businesses are created to add value to society, right? And businesses are created because they are created to be a vehicle for good. The more I build the business, the more people get hired, the more maybe, or in my case, it's more knowledge is spread to society, right? So when that happens, a lot of times, you get a lot of different kind of complaints. You get complaints on we get complaints, the material no good, things don't come on time, right? So what you can do is within the complaint framework, right? All the complaints that are coming up, find something that you confirm can solve. And when you confirm can solve, right, make sure that there's a market for it, there's a need for it. So there was a specific need because I identified in the market was the vendors were all tied up with, they have 30, 40 schools, some have 100 schools under their wing. How to manage? Their salespeople are every day out doing sales. Their administrative girls are always doing admin. The curriculum developers are always developing the curriculum, making sure content is delivered, hardware, software comes on time, right? So I identified the problem. The way we identified it was, okay, now in the market, this is a real problem. And this problem can be solved, but no one is doing it. Why no one is doing it? Because it takes a lot of work. It took a lot of work, and the margins aren't high. You don't earn a lot of money doing it, right? But if you do it right and the volume kicks in, then it's a different ballgame. But can you last that long? So I identified that and I said, okay, this looks like something you can solve. Looks like something I can go in, and it looks like something where I can earn a reasonable income off the bat. So we went in that route and it made sense. Things like logistical supply chain where I can't solve it because it involves other parties, doesn't work. Yeah. So that's how I would say, like, go where the complaints are. Make sure there is a market for it and the problem can be solved through what you're offering.
Okay, so go to where the complaints are, identify them, figure out which one you can solve. And also, I think that something that you said very interesting was that when you know that you can solve it, right, the question was also like whether is that a demand and whether you could scale it, right? If you can scale it, then I think that's when the whole ballgame changes. Like if you can solve a problem, but that problem only earns you $1, walao, I think you do until you can do forever, but you will never ever be able to really profit from it. But yet, if you are able to solve it for $1, but yet there's $1 million of $1 for you to earn. Now that is a different story, right? You could potentially earn $1 million, and that is something that I believe we have to put in mind as well. So thank you very much for sharing that with us. I'd like to appreciate and acknowledge Jonathan. By the way, guys, if you are enjoying this so far, you all think that Jonathan is dropping some golden nuggets with everybody, please just give us a thumbs up and share this video out and just show some love to Jonathan, okay? Okay, so I want to move on to the next part right now. And by the way, I want to say hi to Samalia and Joe, right? That's the one that I could see. For the rest of you, please comment hi as well so that I can say hi to you all. Jonathan, I want to move on to the next part. I want to understand how you run your business. Because I think, right, for many of us, or for many of my viewers, probably we are SMEs, we are smaller organizations, or we are even solopreneurs, in fact. But yet, you are someone who just started your business for 3 years. You are covering so many schools in Singapore to handle so many different trainers and to assign jobs. And, there's so much logistical and admin that you have to do, correct? Yeah. Yet, from what I remember, the last time we spoke, you run a very lean team. You run a very, very smart team to function as well as you are today. Can you share some insights on how you could advise other people to grow their business, but yet maintain a smart and lean payroll or workforce?
So when the company started growing and we had a lot of admin issues coming, which means the timesheets were piling up, the invoices were piling up, the resumes, the certs that we had to churn were piling up. I found myself actually spending a lot of time doing the administrative work than growing the company. So I was very stressed. I was very stressed during that period, and then I called the friend I mentioned, the big business owner I mentioned. I said, "Hey, I'm very stressed. Can I talk to you?" I said, I was stuck. I said, "I'm doing a lot of admin work, and I'm not growing the company. On top of that, it's not helping with the growth of the company. I can't make sure I can't let it stay there as it is, right?" So I said, I need some help. So I had a conversation with him, and he asked me, "Why aren't you hiring people?" So I replied to him, with my revenue, I can't afford to hire someone local. I can't pay 1,800 a month to cover administrative girl, just to do the admin paperwork. So I couldn't do that. And then he asked me, "Who says you must hire a local person?" He kind of shoot that question back to me, and that's how we got our. We actually have an admin girl right now situated in the Philippines. She works for us full time, 9 to 6. And really, she does all the administrative work that actually took me easily in a month, 16 to 17 days to finish. It used to take me 16 to 17 days just to clear those administrative work. So my activity time was cut in half. So he asked me that question, why don't you just look for someone overseas? And I realized a lot of the administrative work that I could, I had to do, it's very routine. It's very, just do some checking, run some Excel sheets. Someone overseas could do that. So that's where globalization works very well, which also then reminds us as Singaporeans, right, that, hey, your competition is not here, man. The competition is global. So you got to know how to, because if I'm doing that, it tells me that that's one job, that we outsource to Philippines. So that was how it worked. And so my admin girl has been with me now. So my previous admin girl was with us for about a year. This current admin girl is also going to be with us for I think a year and more because she's doing very well. So that's how it worked. So I actually had a VA on board, and then it was just me. And what happened is I learned this from a recent kind of talk I attended, and this was what I learned. They said before you build your business, before you scale, before you go and look for fundraising, build influence, build fans, build people that like you, trust you, support you. And in my case, that was the pool of freelancers I had. So I had a pool of freelancers, 60 of them. Each of them have their own different motives, different drives. Some of them are here because they're mothers. They wanted some flexible hours to earn some income while still being able to take care of their child. Some of them are young people like me who wants to do a business, haven't figured out something yet. Some of them are retirees who had nothing to do, wanted to give back to society, to come and teach. So these are the pool of freelancers I had, and I started meeting them one by one. This was how I scaled the company. And I asked them, what are you looking for? What are you trying to do? What's your plans? And when I asked them those questions, I was trying to find out whether their plans could coincide with the company plans, which is my vision for the company, right? And it turned out that out of the 60 people, I didn't interview all of them, but of the people I talked to, there were a few who actually could coincide. So I found out that some of them wanted to run an education business, but didn't know how. So that's why they came in and then wanted to find out more, right? So why don't you join me instead of you start your own? We already have the resources. Work with me, we do together, build the company together. Another one was some of them had no direction. They knew they wanted to do something, but they didn't know what they wanted to do. They want to do a business. They didn't know what kind of business they wanted to do. They had no direction. So I said, why don't you come along with me? We build the business together. So this was where it's very interesting. My co-founder, we have a co-founder now, was a trainer, and then we promoted her to co-founder because she wanted to run a business, because she was doing well as a trainer and she delivered. So one of the things I was looking for was, were they putting the company's interests first, or were they doing their jobs to the best of their capability? And then the company comes in as a vehicle to fulfill your dreams and desires and goals, however that works. So that was how we built the team. So it started off with just one admin girl and a bunch of freelancers coming together to say, hey, there's something we can do together, let's do. And then that's how the core team was formed. And all of them have different strengths. It's very interesting. One of my advisor and director now is a retiree. he had experience in HR in PSA for the longest time. So he ended up doing my HR matters for me. And it was very interesting. And then we run the company together. So that was how the core team formed. It was finding people who trust you, like you know what you've been delivering in the market for the longest time, and then ask them, hey, you want to do something together? And of all those people, some come, some go, but those who stay, you build the company together. That's how it works. So that's how you scale.
Wow, guys! If you love it, oh my god! I mean, I'm loving this conversation. So if you guys appreciate what Jonathan is sharing with you, again, comment down in the comment section. Just tell us what's your biggest takeaway currently, right? Type in the comment section and share with us what is your biggest takeaway right now. And I just want to say things like, it's just very interesting when Jonathan put it this way, right? And previously we are on the topic of networking, right? We are on the topic of networking with other people to grow the business, to be able to go out there to network effectively so that we can expand the business. But in fact, what I'm hearing right now is this: you don't just need to network outside of your business. You need to network within your business, right? You need to spend time to know about the people who is working with you. And once you are able to network effectively with the people that is working with you, for you, I think that's when your business is going to boom as well. So that is something that's one of my biggest takeaway personally from hearing this very short sharing from Jonathan. So I absolutely love that. So that's my personal takeaway, guys. So what's your takeaway for those of you who are watching this right now? Either you're watching it live or you could be watching on the replay later. What is your biggest takeaway right now? Type down in the comment section and let us know what is it that you like. And I wanted to ask the next question. Right? I think this is pretty interesting. You said that you actually have this, this Gao-Ren, this secret grandmaster who was very successful in his business and be helping you along the way, right? He's giving you some form of guidance and everything. And I feel that this is something that I'd like to address. A lot of time, and I mean, it happened to me when I first started out. I have this mindset, right? That I think that, I'm not that stupid lah. I mean, I have decent grades. I'm definitely not like the smartest in the world, but I'm definitely not the most dumb person in the world, right? So I feel that I could do business on my own. I could experiment. I could test this, test that, and do it, right. And obviously, for those of you who know my story, I failed miserably when I first started out, right. And then that's when I found someone who has been there, done that to guide me. So I want to ask you this question, Jonathan. How important was that figure to you? How important was that gentleman or lady, I do not know, as a figure, as a mentor figure to you? Did that play a big role to your success?
Okay, so we're talking on the topic of mentors. I just want to point out I didn't have one mentor. I had a lot of mentors from when I first started business. And I, for people who know me, I attribute the word mentor very carefully because I was taught if I would like to have someone as a mentor, first there must be a mutually beneficial relationship. Second, the person must be where I want to be in career. All right. So I attribute this very carefully, and in the short span of 9 years now in business, I had 1, 2, 3, 4. I have about 4 mentors. 4 mentors. My first mentor trained me very well in mindset, leadership, personal development. He trained me in the need for growth. And today I still keep in contact with him. He actually taught me a lot on personal development, growth-wise, mindset. That was what he taught me. And then my second mentor also came in to teach me a bit more networking business. So these two were pretty much together. All right, during my business journey. Then my third mentor actually introduced me to the ropes. He introduced me to the ropes. He taught me how the industry worked. He actually showed me a lot of interesting business strategies in the education field. So that's what I learned from him. And today we still keep in contact here and there, but he's a very good mentor of mine. All right, I actually gave him, I think, a silver coin as a thank you the previous time. Yeah, an actual silver coin. As a thank you. So I like to take care of my mentors. And my last mentor, he was not in the industry. That's very interesting. He's not in the industry. He was just bored. He was generally bored because his business was done, right? And he spent the last 2 years basically doing nothing or enjoying himself. And he was bored. So my last mentor, he contributed a lot from a strategic perspective. So I found out different mentors have different skills. So my first 2 mentors were personal development, sales, networking. My second mentor was the ropes into the market, right? Understanding the market, having a platform, creating that first boost that I needed to get into the coding field. So that's my third mentor. And my fourth mentor, this guy was very strategic. I found out he wasn't a good networker. He's probably very good in sales. but his ultimate strength, which propelled him to build a company, was his strategy and his penchant for execution. He executes very well. So I had 4 mentors in this 9-year journey, which I attribute the label mentor to. I don't give that to many people because I'm very strict with who I follow, and my girlfriend knows this. All my friends know who I follow. I'm very strict with that, and these 4 people actually contributed a lot to my life. So they help you shortcut your process of success. Case in point, I wouldn't have had an admin girl for the longest time until the fourth guy told me, "Hey, go and get get a overseas admin person." And I didn't even know how to do it. I said, "Do you have someone you can introduce?" And he introduced me somebody. And then now we develop our own system. So now we have a screening process in the Philippines. But mentors are very important. They teach you, they shortcut your success.
I see. Wow, that's really interesting. I think because from someone who is doing coaching as well, I have my own mentee. I also have my mentors, various mentors that guide me in various aspects of my business. I agree with you that mentors are really someone who you want to be able to give you that direction, right? At the very least, like I think one of these, I want to just highlight something that you said was that not a lot of people say it very often. Is that our mentors, right? They are not like this God figure that knows everything, right? Sometimes we have a mentor for a very specific purpose. Like for example, if I want to learn, I don't know, maybe I want to I want to have a 6-pack, right? My current mentor cannot tell me how to have a 6-pack because my mentors, let me see. I think most of them do not have 6-pack. So I don't think they'll be the right person to teach me how to get a 6-pack. So I need to find someone who had the expertise to then guide me to have a 6-pack, right? And there's nothing wrong with it to find mentors for their specific strength. I think that is something that we probably need to take away with. And I just like the way that you put it across to anyone who is watching this today. I think we have sometimes we tend to have this wrong perception of what a mentor is. Like the mentor is like an Omi being, like everything also can run. But actually, that's not the truth, right? Sometimes we can seek out someone for just one very specific skill set. And in Jonathan's case, he's very clear, right? Some of his mentors educate him on mindset. Some of them teach them on strategies. Some of them teach them on the industry insight. So he has very specific mentors for very specific purposes. So that is something very, very unique. So Jonathan, so you said that over the 9 years, you had these 4 mentors who have guided you through your whole journey and have brought you to where you are today, right? And you're in the education business and you teach children. I just wanted to ask something. This is a little bit selfish, in the sense that, not say selfish, but this is something that I'm very curious to know about because I'm very much, I'm very much and am supportive of developing children into the brightest mind that we can, because I think that is a very important milestone in our life. Like when we are kids, we need to have all this kind of training. So I want to ask you, right, what do you feel? This is not political, by the way. I just want to make it clear for those of you who are watching this. Nothing political or anything like that. But in your opinion, right, what is something that is lacking right now in the industry that you're in the education industry? And what is the thing that you feel that you could do to help this industry move forward?
So this is my personal, this is why the company started. Our tagline is think differently, think globally. All right, that's our tagline. Graphite Academy's tagline is think differently, think globally. And why we have that was because a lot of times we notice we are teaching in schools, the kids today, they don't think. I give you a simple example. They don't think. Sounds very big, right? So give you a simple example. Let's say they can solve a problem, right? Let's say they do math, they can solve, right? And then they give you step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they solve it in 5 steps. And what we do as educators in coding, especially, what I like to do, what my team likes to do, what my trainers like to do is we will then reverse it. We'll say, hey, can you then do this in a reverse way? So then their solution is 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, right? That means now instead of doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, they need to do the reverse 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So we give them a challenge. We present it in the opposite manner and ask them to solve it. But the answer is really just flipping the steps around. They can't do it. They get jammed. A lot of them get jammed. And we notice this, it becomes a problem because they don't think beyond that. With Google available, with YouTube available, there's so much things you can copy from. But how do you think beyond that? That's where Graphite Academy comes in. That's where our company started. Let's say they can do 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then let's look at the problem from another angle. Let's do, from the left and right angles. Then they have to jumble maybe it could be 3, 2, 4, 1, 5. And that's how they solve the problem, right? They can't do it. They all jam. We realized they jam. And that's why we also noticed in the market, a lot of them, they give up very easily. All right. They don't think enough. They don't think out of the box enough. They are very used to the one answer, one solution method. That means one problem, one solution. Cannot, man. I don't like that. I find it it irks me because in coding or in just in life, any problem have multiple solutions. Right? Which solution you take will then determine the results you get. And a lot of times, these students, they are so used to the one answer, one solution. Then they stop. So a lot of them are like this, and you can actually see it play out when they become adults. Because let's talk about the kids now. Let's talk about some of the adults we meet. They are very straight one. They can only do things this way. But what if there's another way that could solve it better? Or what if there's another way which could reduce the resources required and give you the same results? So example was so I was very fixated on I need to hire somebody who is in Singapore, and that's gonna cost me what 1,000 plus 2,000 a month. And then my mentor said there's another solution. Go overseas. So we have this very narrow thinking where we're looking to solve this. You want to look at things from different angles and how do you solve it. And this is my biggest take today, which is kids today, or rather even adults, they have to learn how to think for themselves and think out of the box. Think how to solve a problem and then execute it well. Because you can think, and then you can don't do. They think and then they don't do. So you don't need the perfect solution for everything, but you need the one that makes the most sense, all right, and then execute it properly. That's the way I see it.
I see. Okay, but I think this is very interesting. I asked a question about children's education, but I think we actually revolve it back to us, right? Yeah. Even at our stage right now, we tend to be brought up this way, and we tend to be very single track as well. But what you have just shared is actually something that I feel applies not only to business, isn't it? Doesn't only to children in the education system. It applies to any one of us who is doing business, even for those of you who are in the 9-to-5 job, for example. Just imagine the kind of value you could bring to the table if whenever presented with a problem, you're able to come up with creative solutions that is beyond the wildest dream of your employer. How important or how invaluable you will be to the organization that you're working for. Or if you're running a business, then you could have so many other solutions to be able to tackle a particular situation that your business might run into. Like case in point, like in COVID, right? In the current situation right now, we always talk about how certain businesses are unable to pivot, are unable to survive, right? Like I think case in point, like in the airlines, right? Recently, the airlines, and you see how like Thai Airways converted their lounge into a makeshift kind of restaurant where they serve airplane food. I have no idea why people will want to go for that, but people still go for it. And they have like now flights that fly to nowhere. And SIA have a competition where they ask for people for creative ideas, and we have like 500, 600 entries that says that why don't you convert your planes into hotels, into makeshift meeting places, venue, co-working space, which are all brilliant alternative solutions. Not saying that everything can work because due to constraints here and there, but I believe in every one of us right now, like what Jonathan has pointed out, actually we all do have that ability within us. It's a matter of us having the opportunity to shine, having the opportunity to just unleash that creativity within us. And for those of you who are watching this right now, I'm sure you have it in you as well. It's a matter of you being willing to, show it out. And then what's most importantly is after that, Jonathan mentioned it as well. It's not just to show it, but to implement it. Because if you don't implement it, it will always remain just an idea inside this. So guys, right, I think that's a very key point that Jonathan had pointed out earlier. And you know what? In fact, for those of us who are enjoying this so far, for those of you who are watching this on and off, there are many of you who are watching this. I'm not sure how many else are watching this right now. But if you have any questions, right, guys, if you have any questions at all that you would like to ask Jonathan, please type in the comment section and let us know if you have any question at all that you would like for him to address. Okay, if not, we are going to be here for an hour soon. I don't want to take too much additional time from Jonathan because he's a very busy man, right? He runs a huge company that he's dominating this space right now. So he is actually very kind to be providing a lot of his time for us. So if you have any questions, I want you guys to type down in the comment section and let us know right now so that I can actually put it across to Jonathan. So Jonathan, just a few more things before we end off the conversation for the night. I think it has been a brilliant conversation. We have learned a lot. I have learned a lot. So I'm not sure for those who are watching, if you have learned a lot, just type yes in the comment section and let us know, okay? I want to know, right, what is your take, right? If someone would want to come into this space right now, or someone who wants to start a business, right, and he or she is running into an issue today, and for your case is that you went into a very, very competitive space, right? How could someone start a business in a competitive space? How do they find out a niche that they could go into? I mean, we covered it a little bit earlier where we go to where the complaints are, but is there anything else that they should know before they begin that journey?
Okay, this is a little bit, I'm going to share something that's a bit controversial, but it works. Okay, I'm sure many people, if you're listening now, you've heard of the blue ocean strategy, which means you go into a new market and kind of create a business for yourself. That's they call blue ocean, right? And what happens is a lot of times blue oceans are dead oceans. They're dead ocean, which means if you go into a blue ocean, you're going to be playing in the chances of you playing in a non-existent market or a market where there's no demand is going to be there. Case in point, 3D printing started in even before now it's still around, but it's not so popular, right? But it's still around areas. 3D printing, actually, I was first exposed to it in 2011. And one of my friends, business friend of mine, he borrowed money to start a 3D printing company, and the company folded. The whole reason he went in was, hey, blue ocean, 3D printing, nobody doing, can print stuff, very good. And that was it. It didn't make sense because the market he was in wasn't ready. You see, another case in point, smart homes. Now we do a lot of smart home projects for schools, like all the mini thing we do. But we are very aware that smart home also started in 2010, 2009 also started already. But the market wasn't ready for them. But they were going in because a blue ocean, nobody doing smart home, sure good one, everybody do. But now the big players are coming in. You notice Samsung, Google, all these guys are coming in. So a lot of times, I notice blue oceans are dead oceans. And even if there's a blue ocean, it's interesting. It's usually a blue ocean within a bigger red ocean. It's usually a blue ocean within a bigger red ocean. So this was something my mentor taught me. He told me a very long time that when he first started his business, everybody said, wow, hey, you're crazy, man. You're going to such a highly competitive market. You're going to a highly competitive market. You need to fight all these people. How are you going to have a market share for yourself? But he did it. And I even asked him, what makes you different from your competitors? And he told me nothing. This is the most strange thing he ever told. He told me nothing. And I think cannot be, but then how do you carve yourself out? So I noticed that a lot of times in the market, so case in point, there are a lot of big names in the tuition centers that appeared a few years ago only. A lot of big names. There's one currently very big, very famous, very popular, but they only came into the scene maybe 8-7 years ago, compared to the legacy brands like 20 years, 18 years, 30 years. There are some that only came in 10 years ago and they're dominating the market. So what is it that they're doing very differently? So that comes to mind, right? And a lot of times their differences is not something huge. This is the interesting point. It's not like something wildly different. It is a small shift either in service quality branding or their systems. Just a small shift only, and then they cover our market share. So this is a very counterintuitive kind of business advice, but it worked for my mentor. Very interesting. It worked for this mentor of mine, and it's working for us also. So I noticed that if you're going to enter into a market and you say, hey, I want to do a new business, it has to be cool. It has to be the latest thing. The chances of you jumping into a market where there's no demand for it, you're going to be screwed. What you want to do is find somewhere where there's demand, find somewhere where there's something new. So in my case, I'm in a red ocean. I'm in education space. But what was new was coding, right? And even with coding, I have so many competitors. We have so many small companies sprouting here and there, right? But with that kind of mindset, you know that you just need to do something slightly different. It doesn't have to be radically different. Do something slightly different. Either your branding, your marketing, your systems, your internal processes. Just do something different. As long as the consumer is at the end point, you're going to cover a market share. That's how it works. When I first started my business as a, if you need trainers, you come and find me. That was the initial model. I had competitors as well, but they didn't do well. They did the same thing as what I did, but they couldn't do well because we did something very different that they didn't do. You see? So we noticed all these things. So you just need to solve a small problem within a red ocean, listen to the market. Once you understand what the market's looking for, carve out an entire niche, and then do fast. You got to do fast. And once you do it fast, you cover a market share very, very well. And then you establish for a while. So that's what I learned. So yeah.
So speed of implementation is key. Number one, right? I mean, okay, that's not number one. In fact, that's like probably number two or number three. I'm so glad that you actually addressed this. I think it's amazing. The last 3 minutes of this conversation is golden, guys. It's amazing. For those of you who are still watching live right now, you are getting the best part of it. And for those of you who are watching the replay, if you hang on to this point, you have just gotten your, I don't know, it's free. So you have gotten your worth of this, and the last hour spent with us is absolutely worth it because it's so amazing. I think I just want to add on to this that many times where we talk about, where we learn about this blue ocean, red ocean thing. A lot of time people are like, oh, it's red ocean, it's competitive. We want to jump out, we want to go into a blue ocean. A lot of times, like what Jonathan has said, is that we jump into a blue ocean where there are no fish. There's nothing for you to fish. Right? It's a blue ocean, there's nothing for you to fish. You are the predator, but there's no food there already. There's no food. Right? It's pointless. But rather than jumping out into that blue ocean, a lot of time I think we misinterpret that, right? We want to have a blue ocean within this red ocean where you cut out that unique space of us. You need to go to where there is already demand. Right? I mean, you're not saying that you cannot go out to a red ocean and then maybe if you are really good at what you do, you know how to do all the analysis correctly, you can find out a new school of fish. And then there you can then maybe start something because you found that food, right? You found the demand. But if not, a lot of times it's very difficult to do that. And that's why a lot of businesses fail because they go to somewhere where they start a business and they think, they feel good, right? They think, I got a new business and everything, there's going to be demand. But hey, the market is going to slap you in your face and say, no, we don't need your service, man. There's no demand at all, right? So rather than going out there and to figure out something new, right? Go to where the demand is already there, and then you do a tweak to the business, provide better service or better processes or things like this. Bam! Then you'll be able to really secure that big market space already. And I think we got a comment that come in, Joycelyn, looking fresh. Oh yes. By the way, thank you, Joycelyn. I'm not sure you're looking at two very handsome guys right now on the live stream. So yeah, kudos to that, right? And Joycelyn said this, right? Yes, she jumped into a blue and now it turned purple because of COVID. Yeah, we never know. And I think it's very important. So I really appreciate the fact that Jonathan brings this up. And I just want to caution anyone who is on this business journey. Don't just jump into something new because you think that it's going to explode in your face. A lot of time it doesn't, right? So I think one of the most secure way of doing business is that you find out where the demand is first, get into that, even if it's a red ocean, even when there's a lot of competition, then you still can go into that niche, but just figure out how you could do things differently to serve that demand better. Then that's when you're going to be able to really shine, right? I think that's something that's very important. And oh my God, I just love that last nugget that you shared with us. And I think it's so important that people who actually stick to this particular point of time, you are hearing that. That's amazing advice coming from Jonathan. If you are with me right now, can you just say thank you, Jonathan? Just type in the comment, thank you, Jonathan, for sharing that with us. Right, that's super amazing. Right, so bro, I mean, yeah, a lot of people who have like connected with and been hearing this perhaps for the last half an hour, 1 hour, over hour already, they might want to be able to get in contact with you, perhaps to learn more from you. Perhaps they want you as their mentor. I don't know, right? They want to learn more from you, right? They want to emulate your success, or maybe they are freelance trainer. They want to work for you. I don't know, right? If anyone just want to be in contact with you, right? How could they do it? What's the best way for them to reach out to you?
Just add me on Facebook, man. I'm very active on Facebook. Just add me on Facebook. Let me know that you're on the stream because I choose who I add, right? So let me know you saw us on the stream, so I know what's going on. Then I'll just accept you guys. Then just drop me a text. If we have something we can talk about, I'll be glad to sit down and discuss with you guys. So just add me on Facebook. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to grab his link right now, and then I'm going to say add Jonathan here. Right, add Jonathan here at his Facebook link. I'm going to just thumb that right up right now. I think we got it here. So you guys can see the link, right? It's going to be on the chat. So please add that. Wow, you see all these people, right? Suddenly, we have Amira who says that thank you for sharing, Jonathan, right? We have Joycelyn that says thank Jonathan. So suddenly at the end of the stream, everybody then start thanking. Just now, all don't want to comment or just spam the love and like button. We have likes, we have love, we have angry. Angry is you, Jonathan. I just saw you press angry.
I pressed wrongly.
I thought like maybe just now we said something wrong. But anyway, so guys, I'm just gonna show the link up again. Please just connect with Jonathan. And if you've been watching the stream, you guys know what Jonathan is watching out for. He wants people who know how to network effectively, right? So when you add him, please connect with him on a deeper level, on a personal level first, and mention that you were on my stream so that he can add you as a friend, okay? If not, he's just gonna ignore you. So connect with him on a deeper level and then invite him out for coffee. And I assure you, you are not going to regret paying for a cup of coffee for Jonathan, right? I did that before. I experienced it myself. You're going to hear a lot more great stuff from Jonathan. So please connect with him on a deeper level and buy him that cup of coffee. You're not going to regret, paying him that coffee. And you know what, Jonathan, before we end this thing, can I just share that amazing story? Not the story, but the embarrassing incident that I wanted to do when I wanted to ask you out for coffee the first time.
Oh, you mean you didn't make it? You overslept,
Yes, guys. I just wanted to give a character reference to Jonathan. Jonathan is really, really amazing, and I really don't do this very often. In fact, I don't do it at all. But it happened to me when I was asking Jonathan out. So for those of you who didn't know, Jonathan was referred to me by another friend, a mutual friend of ours who was on the show. His name is Jason, right? So he's the CEO of Dynasty Group, and he connected Jonathan and myself. And I wanted to oh my God, this Jonathan is so amazing. I want to connect with him, and I asked him out for coffee. And Jonathan just said yes, right? He's a very good networker, and he said yes. Okay, let's meet up. And what happened was on the day of the meetup, for whatever reason, for the first time in a long, long time, my alarm failed to ring. Right, my alarm failed to ring, and I remember it was I think it was a Saturday, and it was raining, right? So when I woke up, the sky was still dark. I think we wanted to have coffee like 10 a.m. or something like this.
Yeah.
Right, and the sky was still dark when I woke up, and I was thinking, I was still early lah. Like I was probably quite safe, no issue at all. It was raining, cats and dogs, but to my horror, when I look at my phone, it was past our freaking meeting time. And then I totally freaked out, and then I was like, oh my God! I texted Jonathan. I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I have no idea why I didn't make it. The alarm just didn't ring. I still thought it was in the morning because it was still dark because it was raining. And then Jonathan he was very kind. He was just like, oh, don't worry, it's okay. Let's just rearrange. Don't worry about it. But I was like apologizing over and over again. But Jonathan, being such a great guy that he just said, don't worry, it's okay. It's perfectly fine. Let's rearrange it. And I'm glad that he actually really meant it, and we really rearranged, and I met him the next time, and I made sure that I wasn't late. I bought him that cup of coffee, and I learned so much great stuff from him. So again, I think the whole point of what I'm sharing with you, with everyone that's watching this, suddenly we have quite a lot of people. We have like 14, 15 people who are watching this right now. Guys, the good stuff are over. Please go and watch the replay later, okay? Please watch the replay later. You guys don't want to miss those out. But I think the point I'm trying to drive across is Jonathan is a great, great personality, right? He's forgiving, for one, to me. So please meet up with him, connect with him on a personal level. There's going to be so much that you can learn from this amazing young entrepreneur. And I really just want to get you guys to connect with him and just learn so much new stuff from him. So Jonathan, normally when I end the show, right, there's something that I always ask, what is the one advice that you will give to any aspiring entrepreneurs? If you could just give one advice to him, right, what would that be? Right, now, before you answer it, I'm going to give you a few seconds to think about it. And then I'm just going to sell some koyok to my show. Okay, koyok. Okay, so Jonathan, I'm going to give you 30 seconds to think about it while I talk a little bit more about what's going to happen next week. So guys, for those of you who have been following me, if you're not follow me yet, please just click on my name somewhere around, follow me on Facebook or anything like that, because I do this show on quite a regular basis. And next week, I actually have an amazing guest all the way from Canada. Okay, all the way from Canada. He's going to join us at 8 p.m. our time, right? And he's going to be sharing with us his amazing entrepreneurship journey. He's a property investor and he has his own talk show and podcast and everything. So he's a full-fledged, amazing entrepreneur, right? So I managed to connect with him and he's going to be sharing with us a lot of his investment journey, how you can be a successful entrepreneur and investor, especially in properties next week at this next Wednesday as well at 8 p.m. So please follow me on Facebook if you're not yet done so. And I can't wait to have you following me and the guest next week. I'm not going to announce it yet, so you guys know that I normally announce it 1 or 2 days before the show. So next Wednesday, 8 p.m. right here, all the way from Canada, we have this amazing entrepreneur with us. Okay? So, Jonathan, are you ready for your one piece of advice?
Yeah, come. Okay, so my one piece of advice will be this. Don't get too flashy.
Don't get too flashy. Wow.
Yeah. Why? Especially if you're starting out business. Don't get too flashy. It attracts unnecessary attention. So it again depends on what you want to achieve. If you are going to be like an influencer, you want to be like a famous speaker, you want the fame, right? That's fine as well. It works, but with the fame comes problems as well. You got to deal with that. So if you're aspiring entrepreneur and you're, I kind of have the same philosophy with Jason, is don't get too flashy, because when the flash kicks in, you get a lot of unnecessary problems. You get unnecessary problems. So you get things like people are envious, people are jealous, people see you as competition. So don't get too flashy. Work in silence, let your results do the talking. And then when the company grows to a certain size, let the company be the flash, not you. And that's the way I take it.
That's amazing. Joycelyn want to be a key opinion leader. Joycelyn, you already is a key opinion leader, okay? For those of you who don't know, Joycelyn is an amazing video producer. Please get connected with her as well. So the advice from Jonathan is this: don't get too flashy. Let all your results do the talking. That is an amazing advice, and I think that's really simple. And I just want to say that, right? Amira said exactly what I wanted to say. Simple and pragmatic advice. Stay grounded. Although with our common friend, Mr. Jason, right now, I think he's flashing a little bit with all his Mercedes and everything. But that's another joke between the two of us. We're gonna talk offline later. So the is, right? Stay grounded. Sorry, don't be too flashy. So guys, I hope you all have enjoyed the show. If you all enjoyed the show, remember to give us a thumbs up. Say thanks to Jonathan, and don't forget to share this out, because I really think that especially the last 20 minutes or so, the advice is just fabulous. It's just brilliant. Okay, so when you share this out, just tell people, if you don't mind to listen to me ramble too much and talk too much, right? Just rewind just go to the last 20 minutes of this live or this video, right? You're gonna get so much amazing knowledge. So please share this out and tell people to watch the last 20 minutes of this. Okay, with that, I think that's all we have tonight. Jonathan, any last words you'd like to say to people before we end off this?
I'm good, man, actually. It was fun. Thanks for having me on the show, Gavin. Thanks to all that watched. I had a good time. Yeah. So thank you, everyone.
So, right. Thanks, everyone. This is a conversation with successful entrepreneur. We had Jonathan Ho with us. It was an amazing session. I just want to say this again. Remember to watch the last 20 minutes of this. You are not going to regret it. It's the first time I say this on any of my shows. Watch the last 20 minutes. You're not going to regret it. Okay, and that's it. I will see you next week for more exciting episodes of Conversation with Successful Entrepreneurs. This is Gavin signing out. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.